Hello my schoolers, this is my school channel and my name is Abiola. In this particular channel we are tackling the JAMB CBT past question for the subject biology and the year 2020. Don't go anywhere, stay with us because we'll be right back. You are welcome back my schoolers to the My School channel. In this particular clip we are solving questions 1 to 20. So right now on the spot we are solving question 1. The hormone which regulates the amount of glucose in the blood is called what? Okay, adrenaline, that is secreted from the adrenal gland located on the kidneys. Okay, this functions, or this is released, okay, to respond to fight or flight. Okay, or you can refer to it as the flight or fight hormone. Okay, we'll talk about auxin. Auxin is a naturally produced hormone in plants that you can just typically, or in simple words, refer to as growth hormones. You know, it is well observed in the shoots or root tips of plants. Okay, it promotes stem cell divisions and what have you. So naturally you can just refer to it simply as growth hormone in plants. Okay, stem elongation and what have you. So we have insulin. Insulin is secreted by the pancreas in the human body and it is meant to regulate the amount of glucose in the body. We have thyroxine from the thyroid gland. Okay, you can refer to this as the human or the animal growth hormone. So amidst other functions that all of these other hormones do, okay, going back to the context of question or options provided to us, the hormone which regulates the amount of glucose in the blood is called what? It is called insulin. So insulin is the correct option. Option C is very correct. Question 2. Damination occurs in the dash. Okay. At first, just notice that when there is excess protein intake, okay, what your body does is to now break down the amino acid. Remember amino acid, okay, so break down this amino acid for energy release. So, and this takes place primarily in the liver. Sometimes it can also occur in the kidney, but the major site for deamination is the liver. So deamination is you breaking down amino acid for release of energy rather, okay, and this is due to excess protein intake. So the correct option here is option D. Primarily it is the liver, but it can also occur in the kidney. So we are looking at the main site for deamination, and that is option D for liver. Question 3. In an agricultural ecosystem, the biotic components consist of what? So when you talk about biotic components, talking about the living components and how they affect other organisms and even have influence on the ecosystem. So talking about biotic components, you are required to source out the option, okay, that has all of its content or all of its provision as living things or living components. So let's go through option A. Option A, we have crops, living, pests, living, and beneficial insects, all living biotic components. Option B, crops, living, temperature, non-living, humidity, non-living. So this strikes out option B. Option A is still viable. Let's see if we have better choices available. Let's go to option C, pests, living, beneficial insects, living, and water, non-living. Let's go to option D. We have crops, living, water, non-living, and the soil is non-living. So you can see that option A carries all of the living components that is regarded as biotic components. So going back to the question, in an agricultural ecosystem, the biotic components consist of option A, crops, pests, and beneficial insects. Number 4. Epiphytes growing on the branches of trees provide an example of the relationship known as what? Okay, epiphytes, you know, they are just this plant that grow on other plants. and they do not harm their host plants. Okay, they don't take nutrients from there. They generate their nutrients from their environment. Okay, rainfall, from rainfall, sunlight, and the rest. So they do not harm their hosts, at least. Okay, so example of epiphytes, they are just, majority of them, they are angiosperms, okay, flowering plants to be precise, and examples like orchids, mosses, liverworts, ferns, and some other species of pineapple. Okay, so those are epiphytes. So since we know what epiphytes are, so the kind of relationship that they get involved in, it is not parasitism. Parasitism means you are harming your hosts. Okay, this is commensalism. Okay, so epiphytes provide a very good example of commensalism. Okay, you are around a particular organism and you are not causing harm to the organism, though you are benefiting certain kind of benefits, but you are not causing harm. Example is the ramora fish, okay, around sharks. Example is the cattle egrets as well. So we have option C, saprophytism, you know, when you generate your food or your nutrients, okay, from dead or decaying matter. Example of saprophytes, we talk about mushrooms and molds and what have you. When you talk about holophytic nutrition, it is very good, or you can make a very good similarity with autotrophism, whereby certain kind of organism, let me use plants correctly now, okay, so you are able to generate your food from inorganic substance all by yourself without depending on other organisms. So that is holophytism, saprophytism, parasitism. So epiphyte growing on the branches of trees provide an example of the relationship known as commensalism. So option B is very correct. Question 5. The hypha of Rhizopus is said to be non-septate because it's what? So when you say non-septate, it tells you that there is lack of walls and cell membrane between the cells, okay? And also you should also take note that there is repeated division of nucleus, but the cytoplasm is not dividing, okay? So that tells you that it has no cross wall. So the correct option here is option B. So let's fix it back to the question. The hypha of Rhizopus is said to be non-septate because it has no cross wall. So option B is the correct option. Don't forget that clicking on the link in the description below takes you to the Myschool website, where you can download the Myschool mobile app or get the Myschool software for your laptops and your computers. So this is to enable you better prepare for your coming JAMB exam. So why not download the app by clicking on the link right now? So we are tackling question number 6. The function of ribosome in cells is to do what? Okay, so when you talk about the cell organelles, you can also refer to the endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, there are two types. We have the rough and the smooth. So the ribosome is located on the rough endoplasmic reticulum, okay, to be precise. So the ribosome is responsible for protein synthesis. So as the ribosome synthesizes protein, okay, the rough endoplasmic reticulum, okay, it packages it and it transports it, while the smooth is responsible for talking about lipids and stereosynthesis. So precisely going back to the question, the function of ribosome in cell is for protein synthesis. So the correct option here is option A. We believe that this video content, they are helping you to better prepare for your coming exams. Please, all you just have to do for yourself and for us is to click the like button, hit on the subscribe button, and tap on bell notification so you can get alert as soon as we upload the next video. Question 7. In which of the following does external fertilization take place? Okay, external fertilization, it takes place in toad, that is amphibians and fishes, okay, whereby the female already lays out the egg, probably freshly, then the male then releases its sperm on it to fertilize it outside the body of the female. For other animals listed here, this is a reptile, okay, you see them copulate or the mate, and it is after this that is when the female lays egg. This doesn't negate the fact that reptiles aves, okay, they do not lay eggs. They can lay eggs without fertilization, but for the eggs to be fertilized, okay, it has to happen from the inside. So we've just referred to birds, we've referred to reptiles. We're talking about cockroaches, although yes, of course, it happens on the inside. So after these eggs has been fertilized, then it is being put together in an egg case that you can refer to as urtica, okay, and each urtica can contain up to like 16 to 50 eggs per casing. So let's go back to the question given us: in which of the following does external fertilization take place? It is in toad. Option A is the correct option. Number 8. The virus in the small intestine is significant because why? So at first, the small intestine actually does its absorption of nutrients. Okay, it's absorbed in nutrients. So the presence of the virus in the small intestine is actually to increase surface area, okay, for efficient absorption. So when you scan through all of these options given us, you will realize that the correct option is option A. The virus in the small intestine is significant because it increases the surface area for efficient absorption. So option A is very correct. Number 9. The butterfly is of great economic importance because what? So at first, aside from their beautiful coloration, okay, butterflies are very important pollinators or pollinating agents. Aside from that, they also help with population control. You know, most butterflies do their eating, most of their eating during the caterpillar stage. And most of these caterpillars, they are herbivorous in nature. They feed on plants and the rest, but some of them are carnivorous. We have certain species, okay, that actually feed on wholly aphids. Okay, so they serve as population control. Also, this butterfly, they also serve as source of food to other kind of organisms in the ecosystem. So let's go back to the question given us. The butterfly is of great economic importance because it pollinates flowers of crops and other plants. So the correct option here is option D. Question 10. The bright colors of the comb and feathers in the peacock are for what? Okay, so when you talk about birds, generally, okay, the bright coloration display, the display of their bright colored feather or their comb, okay, is actually a courtship behavior. Okay, so they are just trying to attract. Sometimes you even see them sing. Sometimes you see these animals, they strut around, okay, to show their beautiful feather coloration. Sometimes too, there are other courtship behaviors that they display. So one of these courtship attributes or character that is being displayed is the showing of their bright colors of their comb and their feathers. So the correct option here is option C, not just for beauty, it is not for defense, it is not for sex differentiation, it is for courtship. So option C is very correct. Question 11. What is the term used to describe biotic and abiotic factors in the environment of the organism? Okay, so that term is referred to ecosystem, the combination of the biotic and abiotic factors. So the correct option is C. Let's look at option A, habitat. Habitat is the environment where an organism lives in. It can be aquatic, for instance, for fishes. It can be terrestrial, for instance. You talk about mammals and what have you. You talk about biome. It's actually a combo of plants and animals that have certain characteristics that make them fit for a kind of environment, okay? And that is why we have different biomes in the world, okay? So that is the plant and animal that make up a particular environment. So let's look at ecosystem. Is that combination of biotic and abiotic factors, living and non-living components. To talk about ecological niche, it is the role and position of a particular organism in that environment, how it interacts with the abiotic and biotic components in that particular environment, how it survives, how it eats, how it lives, and what have you. So the correct option here to the question given us is option C for ecosystem. Number 12. Which of the following instruments is not used in measuring abiotic factors in any habitat? So abiotic factors talks about the non-living component of that habitat, of that ecosystem. So looking at all of these options, the instrument that is not used to measure abiotic factor is a microscope. A microscope is actually used in the laboratory precisely, okay, to magnify the size of a particular organism or a particular substance you are trying to study. And you know, without the aid of the microscope, our human eyes cannot see them properly or cannot even see them at all. So the correct option is microscope. You know, thermometer is used to measure temperature, and temperature is an abiotic factor as well. We talk about hygrometer, that's measuring water vapor. We talk about wind vane or the weather vane, wind direction. So going back to the question given us, the correct option is A for microscope. Question 13. The smallest living organisms which share the characteristics of both living and non-living matter are what? Okay, they're actually viruses. Okay, viruses have certain living characteristics, like they have nucleic acid, they have protein codes, they can replicate when they are inside a particular host. Okay, but the non-living characteristics that they share is they are non-cellular, they have no cell organelle, they don't feed or respire, as well they do not they can't reproduce by themselves. So that shows you their non-living characteristics. So going back to the option given us and the question posed, the smallest living organism which share the characteristics of both living and non-living matter are what? They have viruses. Option C is very correct. Number 14. The process by which a red blood cell placed in a distilled water absorbs water until it bursts and releases its contents into the surrounding is known as what? This is known as hemolysis. Okay, hemolysis is the destruction of red blood cell, and before you know it, the hemoglobin inside comes outside. So that is hemolysis. Then let's look at what osmosis is. Movement of water molecule, okay, through a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, we talk about plasmolysis. That is water loss by a cell because it is placed in an hypertonic solution. Please take note. The cytolysis is the opposite of plasmolysis. We have turbidity because turbidity is when a particular cell or thereabout or cells they become turgid or they become swollen because there is fluid content being present. So looking at all of these options, we can see that hemolysis is the correct option. So hemolysis is the process by which a red blood cell placed in distilled water absorbs water until it bursts and releases its content, which is hemoglobin, into the surroundings. So option D is very correct. Question 15. Which of the following waste products in plants is excreted through the stomatal and lenticel? They are actually gases and water vapor. So example of such gas is carbon dioxide and water vapor, though the quantity may vary, okay, in these structures. So the correct option is A. What are alkaloids? Alkaloids are nitrogenous waste products, okay, like your caffeine, like your nicotine. Talk about tannins and anthocyanins. These are actually polyphenolic compounds, okay. These are actually helpful to the plants, okay, for certain function. They provide a level of protection against biotic and abiotic factors in the ecosystem for the plants. Okay, anthocyanins also helps when it comes to seed disperser, attracting pollinating insects and what have you. So let's just stick to what the question requires of us. So which of the following waste products in plants is excreted through the stomata and lenticel? With the options provided, the best option here is option A for carbon dioxide. We believe you may have one or two questions you like to ask. Please, all you just have to do for yourself is to hit on the link in the description below. It takes you to the Myschool website where our solution providers are waiting to help you out. So why not ask your questions right now? Within moments, solutions will be delivered to you. So we have question 16 to tackle. Use the diagram to answer the question, okay? The diagram we are saying, this is a thoracic vertebra, all right? It is found in the chest region, and they are 12 in number. So look through all of the options provided. They said the vertebra illustrated is what? Is option B for thoracic vertebra. So, looking through all of these questions that we have solved, we believe we've seen our clips, and you would like to give one or two recommendations or explanations to any of the questions we have solved. Please kindly use the comment section below, indicate the question number, and put forward the solutions you would like to share. Question 17. Use the diagram to answer the question. The neural arc is labeled what? So, I is the neural spine, okay? I, this is the neural arc. I, this is the transverse process. IV, that is the centrum. So if we go back to the question, the neural arc is labeled I. So the correct option is option B. Number 18. The excretory structure in the earthworm is the what? Okay, it's actually the nephridium. Remember that earthworm has a segmented body, and each segment it contains a pair of nephridia. Okay, this is the excretory organ. So the correct option is C. What is a Mapigian tubule? That is found in insects in their abdominal cavity of their body. Talk about flame cell, it is actually, it functions like the kidney. Sometimes they refer to it as protonephridia, okay? It is found in freshwater invertebrates like flatworms. Talk about kidney, the kidney of course is found in like man, okay? Animals like goats, like cow, and what have you. So the correct option here is option C. The excretory structure in the earthworm is the nephridium, option C. Number 19. In which of the following vertebrates does the skin function as a respiratory surface? Of course, it is not in rat. Rat is a mammal. It is not in lizard. Lizard has been a reptile. It is not in fish. Fish use their gills, okay? Generally. Then for amphibians like frog, okay, they actually, when they were still growing the developmental stage, they actually use their gills, okay. As adults, they now use their lungs, okay, and their skin. They have to keep their skin moist at all times, okay, with some mucus, and those mucus will allow them to be able to absorb oxygen from the environment. So the vertebrate that uses the skin to function as a respiratory surface is the frog. So the correct option is option D. Question 20. The process of walking is under the control of the part of the brain called what? The cerebellum. The part of the hindbrain, okay? So it is responsible for coordination and control of body posture and muscular movement. So if there's something wrong with it, that's when you see uncoordinated movement. The medulla oblongata, also found in the hindbrain, or part of the hindbrain, is responsible for respiration, heartbeat, and digestion. Olfactory lobe connected with sense of odor or smell. Optic lobe, that is about sight. So going back to the question, the process of walking is under the control of the part of the brain called the cerebellum, option C. We've come to the end of this clip, but there are more segments to come. Don't go anywhere. Remember that this is my school channel, and we are helping you better prepare for your coming exams. So don't forget that you have to help us so that we can help you. Kindly hit the like button, click on the subscribe button, and tap on bell notifications so you can get informed as soon as we upload the next video segment for this particular subject, the year 2020.